Most people think if you're running Google Ads, you should promote every single product in your store. Makes sense, right? Show more products, more chances to sell. But here's the catch. The more you split your budgets to many different products, the harder it is for Google to learn what works. When too many products compete for a small ad budget, Google's AI doesn't get enough data on any single item. That means weaker learning, poor optimization, and wasted ad spend. Now, flip that around. If you focus on fewer products, each one gets more impressions, more clicks, and more conversion data. Google learns faster, bids smarter, and finds better customers for you. So how do you actually make this work in practice? Hi, I'm Clarice Lin, the ROI Doctor. I help Shopify store owners like you double their revenue with profitable Google Ads. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Want to check if your Google Ads are sending the right shoppers to your store? Introducing my free resource, the Google Ads Pulse Check. It's a 9-point diagnostics checklist that helps you identify if your ads are attracting the most likely buyers through Google Ads. If they're not, it's time to review your ad campaigns and all your landing pages to make the improvements needed to drive more sales for your store. Head over to claricelin.com to download it. You can find the link directly in the description and pinned in the comments. Without further ado, let's dive into our topic for today. Today, we're talking about Google Ads strategy and why less is often more. Here's the plan for this video. First, I'll walk you through the most common mistakes people make when they try to do too much with their campaigns and why it doesn't work. Then, I'll share 2 client case studies that prove why focusing on less can deliver better results. And finally, I'll wrap it up with best practices that you can apply straight away. I'm going to use a quick analogy to make this clearer. It's a simplified example, but you'll get the idea. Think about it like watering plants. If you try to water 50 plants with 1 small cup of water, none of them get enough to grow. But if you pick 5 plants and you give them the whole cup, they will most likely thrive. Google Ads work the same way. Your budget is that cup of water. Spread it too thin, nothing grows. Focus it correctly, and the system finally has enough data to learn, optimize, and scale. So that's the simple way to think about it. When you concentrate your limited ad budget on fewer products, or fewer asset groups or ad groups, or fewer targeted keywords, your campaigns grow stronger just like those plants. Well, you might say, Clarice, Google seems to think otherwise. And it's true. Google often suggests adding more products or more keywords into a campaign or running a catch-all setup. They do this because their system works best when it has many data and as many signals as possible. The more it can test, the more it can optimize. But here's the thing. What helps Google's system overall doesn't always help your individual campaigns. If your budget is limited, spreading it across too many products just means nothing gets the traction it needs. And that's where most campaigns go wrong. People try to do everything Google suggests, and it backfires. Here are some common mistakes I see very often. Number 1, advertisers create too many asset groups on a small budget. For example, if you have $30 a day and you spread it across 5 asset groups, that's only $6 per group. If your click costs you $1 each, you're only getting a handful of clicks per group. Not nearly enough for Google to learn what's working. 2, businesses promoting every single product size, even if some sizes sell once a month. If size extra small moves once a month, Google still spends money testing it. That spend could have gone to your best-selling medium size or large sizes where conversions actually happen. Number 3, businesses mix products that serve totally different audiences all into one campaign, like men's suits and women's dresses. Of course, Google will try to test everything, but with limited budget, none of those products collect enough conversion data to show which ones are actually the best sellers. And that's the real issue. Each of these mistakes spreads the budget too thin, slows down learning, and blocks your campaign from scaling. Each of these mistakes makes it harder for Google to learn. You don't just lose budget, you lose the ability to scale. And I get it why people make these mistakes. It feels very logical to give every product a chance, or to cast a wider net by targeting multiple audiences, or to split asset groups so everything gets some exposure. The problem is Google Ads doesn't think in fairness. It thinks in data. It needs concentrated signals to find the right buyers. When you spread the ad budget too thin, you're not giving Google enough volume of signals to work with. And without that volume, it can't spot the patterns that help you find more of the right customers. So why does data volume matter so much? Here's the real reason Google doesn't tell you. Google's system learns by recognizing patterns. It looks at signals like what people search for, who they are, what device they are on, and even the time of the day or the season. But signals on their own are not enough. Google needs a significant volume of signals. That means enough clicks and conversions to see which of those signals actually lead to sales. If a product only gets 1 or 2 clicks per day, there's nothing to analyze. Google can't adjust bids, it can't refine the targeting, and it can't properly optimize. But when a product's getting enough clicks and conversions, then Google finally has enough data to connect the dots. It can start predicting who to show your ads to, the people most likely to click and buy from your store. That's when the system gets smarter, faster, and more profitable. Now, let's go into the case studies I've promised at the start. Case study 1. Last month, we had a client where we had been running a Performance Max campaign for over a year. Over time, we noticed a trend. Products in less popular sizes and colors were not converting often enough. They were draining budgets without much return. So step by step over the months, we paused those weaker performers and left only the strongest products active. By the end, 1/3 of the product catalog was turned off. When we compare the results year on year, the difference was striking. Impressions dropped 29% and clicks fell 17%. At first, that might sound like a loss, but it actually meant cutting wasted traffic. The people still clicking on 2/3 of the catalog were of higher intent, which is why click-through rate jumped 18%. Even with fewer clicks, conversions jumped 118% and conversion value rose 21%. We drove fewer visitors to Google Ads, but they were the right visitors and they bought. With just a 9% budget increase year on year, the conversion rate jumped 162% to 3%. Cost per conversion was cut in half and ROAS still improved another 10%. By pausing the low-performing products and focusing spend on the products that actually convert, every dollar went further. Google had the data it needed to learn faster, bid smarter, and bring in the right customers. Next, case study number 2. Now, another client came to us after running one giant PMax campaign. All the products dumped into one asset group with 3 audiences fighting for budget. The problem? Many of the sales were one-time purchases. People bought once and never came back. That meant the audience pool wasn't growing and the campaign had no long-term momentum. So we flipped the strategy. We identified the top 10 sellers from one product type, items that had strong search demand and were the kind of products people regularly came back to restock. After a month, 7 of those products started generating consistent conversions. We paused the rest, rewrote the product titles and descriptions to optimize the campaign further and let the budgets concentrate on what was working. Instead of following Google's catch-all advice, we focused on products that could actually scale through repeat customers. And the results spoke for themselves. During the holiday season, cost per conversion dropped as low as $18. And many of those new customers returned multiple times to stock up. That's how the campaign turned into a long-term winner. It worked because we stopped promoting all products in one single campaign. Instead of spreading budgets across products people buy once and forget, we narrow in on the ones that drive repeat sales. By cutting down the catalog, we gave Google a clean signal and the campaign had room to build real momentum. Less really did turn into more repeat buyers, more efficient ad spend, and more long-term growth. So what do both of these case studies really show? They show the difference between the long tail and the core. What do I mean by that? Every store has a long tail, or those products that only sell occasionally. They sit in your product catalog, but they don't move often enough to drive your business. Then you have the core products, the 20 to 30% of products that make up most of your revenue. If you split your budget across everything, Google wastes time testing the long tail products. None of those products get enough clicks or conversions to teach the system anything useful. But when you put your budgets behind the core products, Google finally gets steady signals. It learns faster, optimizes better, and scales products that actually matter. That's why pausing less popular sizes or doubling down on products people keep coming back for works so well. It's not about luck. It's about giving the system a clear focus. Now, both of these case studies prove the same thing. The winners drive the growth. Every store has what we call their long tail products. Dozens or even hundreds of products that only sell once in a while. And then you've got the core products, the 20 to 30% of products that bring in most of your revenue. Here's a simplified way to think about it. Imagine a restaurant. If the chef tries to juggle 10 complicated dishes every night, the quality suffers, customers don't come back, and the restaurant will struggle. But if that same chef doubles down on 3 signature dishes, those dishes stand out, people return for them, and word spreads. That's exactly how your campaigns work. If you let Google spread budget across every single item, that means the long tail products, nothing gathers enough data to scale. But when you concentrate ad spend on your core products, Google learns faster, finds the right buyers, and drives long-term growth. That's the point both clients' case studies prove. The core products carry the campaign, not the long-tail products. So what does that actually mean for you in practice? Let's round it up with a few best practices you can use right away. If you've got a $30 daily budget and your average cost per click is $1, don't spread it across 30 products. That's just 1 click per product per day, nowhere near enough for Google to learn. Focus on your top sellers. In most stores, 20 to 30% of the products drive the bulk of conversions. Put your money behind those and cut back on the rest. Like the sizes that barely move, colors only a handful of people would ever pick, or materials few customers care about, or side products types that sits in your catalog but never compete with your best sellers. Those products eat up the budget without giving Google enough data to optimize. Your consistent sellers, on the other hand, generate steady clicks, real conversions, and repeat buyers over time. Those are the ones worth keeping. Next, consider prioritizing products that create repeat customers. It's not just about one sale, it's about building a cycle of people coming back to stock up again and again. And the same rule applies to audiences. If you only have $20 to $30 a day, don't try to split that across multiple groups. Say you sell men's and women's apparel. If women tend to purchase more often and come back more, then dedicate their ad budgets to female shoppers. One audience, one focus. And don't overcomplicate your asset groups or creatives. Keep them tight, focus, and align with your strongest products. Test systematically, one variable at a time, instead of throwing in everything at once and hoping the system figures it out. The rule is very simple. Fewer products, fewer audiences, tighter campaigns. That's how you give Google enough data to learn, optimize, and scale. You don't win by advertising everything. You win by giving your best products the ad budget to shine. I hope that gives you a clear idea on what you can do to improve your ad campaign by scaling back or cutting back, or maybe asset groups or products, so you can give Google the chance to focus on your best sellers. That would likely help your campaign to scale better. Once your campaign is getting the momentum and it's getting the conversions, that's when you can scale up by maybe adding 1 or 2 more popular products that you have, or you can add more budget to help the campaign reach out to more new customers for you. If you're trying to scale your campaign by raising your ad budgets and you're seeing worse results, you can check out one of my videos to find out why and what you can do to resolve the problem. The title of the video is When Increasing Google Ad Budget Gets You Worse Results. The link is in the top right-hand corner of the screen. If you're struggling to scale your campaigns or making Google Ads work harder for you, get in touch at claricelin.com. I can help you spot where to scale back, where to scale up, and how to turn more of your budget into returning customers. If you're ready for a Google Ads strategy that actually supports your business goals, check the description and pin comments for my contact information. If you have questions about applying the Google Ads strategy, less is more, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear what's happening in your campaigns. And if you like this video and found it helpful, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss future videos on how to double your Shopify revenue with profitable Google Ads. I'm Claricelin, the ROI Doctor, signing off. Till the next video, stay profitable.